I mean,
Yeah,
before them, it was that way too. So, and then you have and then of course in the NFL, we know it's the Steelers and the Patriots with 6 each, right at the immediate moment. So we know they both have 6. So, but it's just it's scary to think that you're trying to go to a high school football game, and I know that they're getting ready to do, if they haven't already started, some of these states are doing state championship games now, where they're starting to get the state playoffs.
Yeah.
To go to do that. So, it's just it's bad that we can't even go to a freaking high school football game without having to worry about being with guns and stuff. So hopefully it gets better. I don't know how they're gonna make it better, but hopefully it gets better. I don't know how.
I wish I had an answer for that.
How you would make it better, Lewis? I don't know. I really honestly don't know how you're gonna make it better.
I don't know.
Other than, again, like when I go to the USF games, I carry a backpack with a laptop and binoculars and stuff, and my bag has to go through what your bag goes through at the airport. They want to make sure that you're not going in there to do anything. And, I know now at most major sporting events, you have to have a clear backpack where they can see everything, where you can't hide things anymore. I know, here in Florida at Disney, I'm a year-round pass holder for Disney World here in Orlando. You can't have ice anymore in a cooler. You have to have ice packs. You can't have loose ice anymore because people are hiding things in loose ice. So they've taken that away. And the fact that, security guards have to check through that stuff. And if you use that for drinks and their dirty hands are touching that, now you're spreading germs. Now you're looking for a lawsuit. So there's another way that they're going to stay out of lawsuits. But, I mean, it's just if it's going to come to that, where we're going to have metal detectors at every entertainment destination, well, how is that going to come across? They're going to be like, oh, well, you got to be scared. You can't go and enjoy yourself. Well, not necessarily, because if you do it the right way and you're not one of these dumb idiots, you'll be fine. But there's the thing right there is how many of them, and that's one other thing that I don't like about when you see, there was another high school shooting out in California last week. I hate the fact that the thing that bothers me, Lewis, most about that is the fact that they broadcast it on every news channel. And what I think it does is it entices the next nutball to make it worse.
It does.
Look, oh, this guy killed 16 people. Great. I'm going to kill 20. I'm going to kill 25. So you're just enticing.
And the problem is that, everybody's in shock. What happens? Like, oh, how could this happen? This happens again. And then a few weeks later, it happens again somewhere else. It's a ridiculous chain of events that,
The media needs to stop hyping this stuff up. They need to stop. Because they're just as much as the problem as, again, we do. And as we have a mental health crisis in this country. It is. Right. It's been that way for a long time. And until we have someone step up and do something about it, you're going to have instances like this. But stop hyping it up to where the next mental case, I hate to say mental case, but the next, mental person does something like, shootings and bombings. And I mean, again, I'm not trying to call anyone old. When I was in high school, we didn't have to worry about this stuff, man. The thing we worried about most was a bomb threat.
Right.
You get for those out of the blue. Wow. But nothing was never taken seriously. We didn't have to worry about guns in school, nothing like that. We could walk home from the bus stop without having to worry about someone shooting you or whatever else. So it's just, I guess, society has just gotten to that point where, I don't know. I don't know if the solution is we need to get the mental health crisis taken care of in the country and start paying more attention to it to avoid these situations moving forward. Because it's going to end up being where, we're not going to be able to go. You're not going to feel safe to drive to work. You're afraid you're going to get shot by somebody, and it's not. You shouldn't have to feel like that. We're not in a communist country. We shouldn't have to feel like that. We should be able to say, you know what? I feel like going to a baseball game today. I'm going to go to my local and whether it's, minor league baseball or pro baseball, whatever it is, I'm going to go because I know some of these small towns out there don't have pro baseball. So a lot of them have minor league teams that they can go and watch, and they get to watch these kids develop, and try to make it to the majors. And I think that's the goal of everyone, but you're not going to do that. Not everyone is a major athlete. It just doesn't happen that way. Or we'd all be athletes. It just doesn't happen that way. But it's cool to watch them. It's been cool the last 2 seasons for me to watch USF because I get to watch Charlie Strong and I get to watch some of these kids that are freshmen and now that are seniors and all that stuff that are moving on. It's cool to watch them because you get to watch them develop into what you're hoping they'll be well in the pros. Some of them will, some of them won't, because, you have the Ryan Leafs of the world that, are a bust, and you have the Tom Brady's of the world that end up being great quarterbacks. So it just depends on who. I mean, you could have, a Russell Wilson type where you get a great quarterback, or you can end up with Jamarcus Russell. So it's just
pick your poison.
I mean, exactly. I mean, it's one of those things where you as a general manager, you have to say, okay, well, you know what, I think even though he's one of the better college athletes, is he going to pan out to be a good NFL athlete? Not all of them do. Some of them are worse than they were in college. I mean, I'm going to say this right now. I don't know what the Bucs saw in Jameis Winston, but again, I'm not Jason Light, and I'm not in that position, so I can have an opinion, but I don't have a reason why. And guess what? So you draft Marcus Mariota? Yeah, how's that working out for you? That didn't working out too well in Tennessee since he got benched for Tannehill. So there you go. How's that working out for you, Tennessee? That ain't working out for you either. So neither one of them quarterbacks, neither one of them worked out, from the 2014 draft. So neither one of them are working out. So it's just one of those things where you have to, hope that hope that you end up, with a good player, and if you don't, you don't. But that's just the way it is, man. That's the way it is.
Yes.
So I don't think you're a Ranger fan, right, Lewis? Did I ask you about that? Okay, they're off to. They beat the Lightning pretty handily.
I know.
At Madison Square Garden, but then we came here. You guys came down here, and we took you to the whooping shit last Thursday night.
Yeah, I know.
I was at that game. I couldn't fathom that by the time that I sat down, they'd already scored 4 goals. I have only seen them score, the Lightning in particular, score 9 goals, 8. I've only seen them score 8 or more goals one at a time, and they beat the Jets for 1. When I was a season ticket holder, this was about 7-8 years ago. So it was. I've never seen them score that many goals before, so I was shocked. But on the further point, the Rangers are what, the second or youngest team in all of the NHL. So what do you expect?
Something like that, yes.
So you can't expect too much out of them.
No.
Maybe in the next couple years as they develop, hopefully they don't turn out like the Edmonton Oilers, where you have a guy like Connor McDavid, who I think is the best player in all of hockey, but he has no help. Outside of Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, once you shut them down, they don't have anyone else. And that's just, it's been that way in Edmonton for a while. So unless you have secondary scoring, you can't win in the NHL. That's just the way it is. Like I said, with the Rangers, I don't expect you can't expect too much out of them in the first year. Not with how young they are. I think the average age on that team is 22 or 23. So yeah, they're really, really young team. So the Rain, I mean, so are you are you closer, Lewis, to Madison Square Garden, or are you closer to the Devils Stadium in
Closer
northern
to
Jersey?
Newark. I'm closer to Newark, to the Newark
Okay.
Arena.
Okay. So you're closer to Prudential than you are to MSG.
Yes.
Okay. I've been in the Prudential Center. I was there when I was in New York. I was in New York for a week in 2008, and I went to the Lightning Devils game inside that building. Now I was at Madison Square Garden to see the Islanders and Rangers game. That was interesting because it was the battle of the New York teams. The Islanders won the game in a shootout, and going out the building back in that day, Jaromir Jagr was on the Rangers. He didn't take it in the shootout, and I forget who the Rangers head coach was at that time, but they're like, oh, why didn't he? I said, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Ranger fan. I had Ranger gear on, but I'm like, I'm not a Ranger fan, so I'm kind of blending in with you guys. I don't know why they didn't start. I don't know why he didn't get in the shootout. I have no idea. I'm not the coach, so
I don't know why you had Ranger gear on, even though you're not a fan.
Well, I was told I was told by the guy that I was with that you better wear Ranger gear. I'm like, okay. I mean, I can blend in.
Never mind.
When I was in Detroit, when I told you I was in Detroit, I had Red Wing gear on, so I adapt to my surroundings. You could say I adapt to my surroundings. I adapt.
Sometimes you have to.
And I mean, to me, yeah, it was in those arenas. It was, the thing about the Rangers that I'll say is that at MSG, and maybe you're a fan. To me, they never sat down the entire time.
Never.
They don't sit down, and that's great.
Of course not.
It's just that makes, for me, if I was a player, I'd be like, great, we have the best fans in all hockey. They don't sit down. The entire 60 minutes we're on the ice, they don't sit down. So it was, a great experience, and still to this day, that's been the best arena I've ever been in that I can recollect. I've not been in a lot of them, but I mean, up till this point, that's one of the better ones that I've. But I've been to Joe, I've been to MSG, I've been to the Prudential Center. I was in Boston, but I didn't go to their arena. I'm not a big Bruins fan.
Well, actually, I went to I saw Fenway.
I've been to Fenway. I don't mind going to Fenway, but their hockey arena, I'm not a big Bruins fan, and if I went to Boston, I wouldn't wear Boston Bruins gear. I can promise you that, because I don't like the Boston Bruins. I never really have been a Boston Bruins fan.
My best friends at Boston is Bruins fans, though.
Yeah, well, it's you guys are original Six fans, so you guys have been around forever, been around since the start of the league. So, if you're a fan of any of the newer teams like me, my team didn't come into the fruition until 1992. So, years after, the NHL started. But I mean, it was fun, Lewis. I mean, it was fun. Like I said, I was in New Jersey, in Newark. I took the PATH train from Penn Station in New York, close to where the World Trade Center stands, or where the Freedom Tower now stands, to where you get off in New Jersey. So, I mean, it was kind of cool to go back and forth. And, they say that New York is such a tough place to live and visit.
Yeah.
I never once ever had any kind of fear. And I mean, we rode the subway everywhere. I never once in my life ever feared that I was going to get robbed or stabbed or anything. Everybody just kind of.
Just remember, it's the mugging capital of the world.
Yeah, well, if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone, and that was the motto I was told: is don't bother them, they won't bother you, and that's the way it goes. So if you can stay away from that, you'll have a good time. And I did. I enjoyed it. The only one thing I didn't get to do, I didn't get to see Times Square very long because it was pouring down rain. So I didn't get a chance to see that much. But I did enjoy being up there. I did really enjoy being up there, being the fact that I've been in New York and in New Jersey.